is CTV News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Travis Fortnum. It was just 24 hours ago that Canada's team, the Toronto Blue Jays, punched their ticket to the World Series. Now the focus shifts to Friday and their showdown with the LA Dodgers. CTV's Robert Lothian joining us with a local look at how fans right here in Windsor are gearing up for Game 1. Robert, this has been a long time in the making.
Yeah, Travis, try 3 decades in the making. After years of missed opportunities and falling short, Jays fans here in Windsor are ecstatic about this World Series berth. This excitement is, of course, spilling over into local businesses who are buying into this postseason run.
And a swing and a fly ball to left field.
With one swing of the bat, Toronto Blue Jays slugger George Springer helped book the team's first World Series trip in 32 years.
It's unfortunate that it's taken it this long to get back to it.
For longtime Blue Jays fan Pat Heaney, a return to the Fall Classic is long overdue, with memories of their last World Series run still on his mind.
Watching Joe Carter hit the home run to win it all.
A swing and a belt, left field, way back.
That was pretty amazing. I remember that night very well. I was in high school, and yeah, it was amazing.
Despite playing in Toronto, Blue Jays fans span across Canada, nearly 400 kilometers away from Monday night's series finale. Bob Ream says demand for team gear is off the charts.
Toronto been good all the way along. Now this is the next step, and it's been busy today with people looking for stuff and looking for the stuff they saw on TV last night.
In baseball-devoted Windsor, love for Canada's lone team isn't cut and dry. Stepping up to the plate across the Detroit River are the much-loved Tigers.
People grow up Tigers fans, you grow up Jays fans. It's kind of like a city divide. I feel like you grow up one or the other.
The head of St. Clair's men's baseball team says the fandom is split in Windsor, but with only the Blue Jays on the cusp of history, he says fans are likely all rooting for Canada's team.
If you're not a baseball fan or if you don't necessarily have a team, if you're Canadian, you're going to root for the Blue Jays. They're Canada's team.
Heading into a series against the favored LA Dodgers, fans are optimistic about their chances, with perhaps more to win than just a trophy.
Even in the current political environment, you know, Canada-US, I mean, that's a nice little nail to drive home there. That would be pretty nice.
So far, the city has not announced any plans to host Blue Jays-themed watch parties. We do believe that could change with more details expected before Game 1 in Toronto on Friday. Travis.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see because everybody's going to want to make their plans for Friday night, right? I'm sure there will be at least one watch party or two. By now, most people know the Gordie Howe Bridge won't open until next year, most being the operative word, because somehow one transport truck driver missed the memo and the fencing and the security barriers and drove onto it. CBSA says the truck entered from the U.S. side but was intercepted before reaching the Canadian port of entry. The vehicle was turned around, sent back to the U.S. and advised to take the Ambassador Bridge. A spokesperson says there are multiple security barriers and extensive fencing to prevent people from erroneously crossing, and there was no opportunity for this truck to enter Canada. Speaking of semi-trucks ending up where they shouldn't, take a look at this video from that side of the bridge. Earlier today, a truck crashed into a retention pond at a Michigan truck stop. You can see the cab there, partially submerged. Authorities believe the driver, who was stopped at a St. Clair County truck stop just off I-94, left the truck without putting the brakes on, leaving it to roll through a fence and into a retention pond. No injuries were reported. And an update from LaSalle, where there were injuries after an SUV smashed through the front of Zares yesterday afternoon. A 42-year-old was struck and remains in hospital with serious but not life-threatening injuries. Police say the driver of the vehicle was a 73-year-old woman, with the investigation into the cause of the crash expected to take at least a week. Windsor Police today announcing another arrest in the David Paveo case. 61-year-old Ronald Holman charged with accessory after the fact and indecent interference with a dead body. He's the third person arrested, and a warrant has been issued for a fourth, 40-year-old Jason Vincent Smith. Meantime, investigators are still searching for a man known only as Colin, who could be late 20s, about 5'10", with a flower or rose tattoo on the back of his hand. In Chatham-Kent, police say they made an arrest last week after officers watched a drug deal go down in a parking lot. When they moved in, a 19-year-old Chatham man allegedly took off and tossed a bag as he ran. Police say inside 349 grams of cocaine, a digital scale, and a large amount of cash. He was arrested and charged with possession for the purpose of trafficking. A Toronto man accused of killing 2 women, including one from Essex, is now on trial. The Crown says Juliana Panunzio was lured to a party in Fort Erie, calling that night sheer bad luck. The trial is underway in Welland, and CTV's Michelle Molesky was there for day 1.
A jury of 7 women and 7 men will consider the case against 27-year-old Christopher Lucas of Toronto. He has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of second-degree murder in the death of 20-year-old Juliana Panunzio of Essex and 18-year-old Christine Crooks of Toronto. It's a result of sheer bad luck that she happened to tag along to this party with Cece, Assistant Crown Attorney Jody Ostapew said in her opening statement. The party was held at this short-term rental on Niagara Parkway. Panunzio's body was discovered in the main living room area. Crooks was found in a bedroom. Both women had been shot by a Glock pistol, according to Ostapew. You will learn the main issue in this trial is the identity of the shooter, she said. Ostapew told the jury that even though 4 years, 9 months, and 2 days have gone by since the murders, not a single person at the house party that night has identified the shooter. The Crown believes it was Lucas, in part because his DNA is on a marijuana cigarette found near the bodies of both women and his, quote, after-the-fact conduct. Ostapew says Lucas is the only person there that night who acted in a manner that is consistent with a guilty person and inconsistent with the conduct of an innocent person. The jury learned in January 2021 Lucas was out on probation for other criminal offences. After the shooting, the Crown alleges he stopped reporting to his probation officer and he skipped court appearances. It took Niagara police more than 6 months to find Lucas and charge him with murder. Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
Amherstburg Council is weighing a multi-million-dollar decision that could change how the town does business and where. CTV's Chris Campbell has more on the proposal and the price.
Has been showing its age, and now council is weighing whether to start fresh on a historic site.
It's quite a historic location. There's a lot of pros and cons to it.
A report before council recommends choosing between 2 options that would see a new town hall built at 130 Sandwich Street South, the former General Amherst High School property, as part of a redevelopment by Valente Development Corporation.
Our current town hall it's simply not big enough for this municipality today.
The project could also include a new public library and community theatre with a total price tag of just over $15 million. Other options are on the table, including expanding the Libro Centre or constructing a standalone building. Those options are estimated to cost the town between $19 and $27 million.
There's other opportunities around the municipality that all have pros and cons. So Monday night, at least, hopefully we'll have direction from council, and we'll if this is the spot, then we move forward with negotiations. If this is not the spot, then we go to whatever plan B is.
Deputy Mayor Chris Gibbs says feedback from residents has been mixed, many concerned about the cost.
It's all over the place. There's a lot of questions, a lot of people a lot of residents who prefer not to spend the money.
Gibbs says whatever council decides, doing nothing isn't an option.
It's one of those tough ones where you as a member of council, you're trying to look 50 years down the road and see what's best for the next generation or 2 generations.
Council is expected to debate the proposal Monday night. If approved, negotiations with Valente Development Corporation would move forward and plans for Amherstburg's new town hall could soon take shape. In Amherstburg, Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Meantime, in Chatham-Kent, the construction of a new $39 million community hub has been given the green light. Council awarded the project to Fortis Construction Group with a bid of almost $40 million. The hub will bring the Chatham Civic Centre Public Library and Museum under one roof. Work is expected to begin in December and wrap up by early 2028.
Very exciting as we move forward. The great thing is it's financially the best decision compared to just fixing up the current Civic Center. There's a lot of excitement starting to brew here in Chatham-Kent, and I know there's a lot of people ready to step up and contribute to make this a huge success.
Windsor residents today saw their green bins picked up for the first time. Officials call it a big move to cut down on landfill waste and emissions, but not everyone's sold on the change. Some say it's a hassle compared to the smaller compost bins they've been using for years.
I just feel that for somebody 92 years old, it's causing a lot of disruption in my events. You know, I put my green thing out and I am using it, but it isn't easy. If I didn't have a wonderful neighbor, I don't think I'd be able to do it. So you might be depending on your neighbors, some people.
To a bin of a different color, city officials say they are frustrated over blue bins, accusing Circular Materials of going silent as complaints pile up. Circular Materials is responsible for Ontario's recycling system, but the city says the group has been largely absent, so they're sending a letter to the company and the province.
What do I do with the existing bin? What do I do if I'm a senior and I can't move that giant bin to the curb? How do I still participate? There are a number of questions. We need them to step up, perform their role, which is answer those questions and provide clarity to the residents who are looking to be good citizens in terms of recycling, but have some issues with this transition.
At the Windsor Regional Hospital campus on Tecumseh, a newly renovated atrium unveiled today, made possible through contributions from Transition to Betterness and the Stephanie and Barry Zeckelman Foundation. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time.
I just lost that money, and I don't want other people to have to go through that too, so just be careful.
If you're hoping to score some tickets to watch the Jays in the World Series, tread carefully. How rampant scams are and how to avoid them. Still ahead.
5K a day is back on 93.9 Virgin Radio. Listen to Hannah and Johnny in the morning for your chance to win $5,000
every weekday.
5K a day.
Virgin Radio.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald is here with a look at the weather. Gary, Halloween's still 10 days away, but we are in the midst of a dark and stormy night.
You're right about that. It does feel Halloween-y, sort of scary, Scream-like. You know that movie? That's a good film. Great in terms of that dark theme, storminess with the winds gusting and really building. The sky went from blue to gray like that. And then we saw wind speeds, 80 to 85, almost 90 kilometers per hour in a short period, this sliver of time between about, say, 5 p.m. and 5:45. By the way, reached a high of 17 degrees Celsius in the 4 o'clock hour. By 6, it was down to 10, giving you an idea of the shift from southwesterlies, very strong, to very strong gusts out of the west, all due to this massive spin of low pressure responsible for this ugly weather. And look at it spinning about, slowly but surely moving east, but still, obviously, there's a lot of flow and energy wrapped up in this system as it continues to spin and work its way across southwestern Ontario and southern Ontario proper. There will be scattered showers as I speak through the overnight. The probability of some rain between now and, say, sunrise tomorrow morning, about 80%, by the way. If you have travel plans, note the winds in addition to the rains right now through to tomorrow morning. Don't anticipate a wide outbreak of thunderstorm activity, but we've been in and out of severe thunderstorm warnings across parts of Michigan into southern Ontario over the last 6 hours. So there's a possibility. The overnight low, that is the lowest temperature before dawn tomorrow morning, 7 degrees, cloudy and windy. Sustained winds out of the southwest projected between about 20 and 25 km with higher gusts in the 30s to 40s. It will be a windy morning through the midday, early afternoon, and evening. And look at this. Temperatures really don't fluctuate much between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. when most are either at work or school coming back. Looking at 10 degrees the high, well below seasonal. So where do we go from here? Take a look at the 7-day forecast I put together for us. Maximums, the daily highs, minimums, the lows. We will be cooling off, especially with respect to the lows. Lower single digits possible as we head towards Friday morning. The windiness does subside late Wednesday. Thursday is still gray and a good chance of early morning showers, lesser chance through the afternoon, then fair weather and an average temperature around 14 Friday through to Tuesday. That's 5 days as of right now that look pleasant, but coolish for this time of the year. Let's look at your weather.
All right, thanks so much, Gary. General Motors today confirming it's ending production of its EV delivery van manufactured in Ingersoll. With all the details, here's CTV's Brian Bicknell.
Dark clouds hang over the Bright Drop Cami assembly plant, marking a sad day for the town of Ingersoll.
I never thought for a minute it would ever come to the point where they're almost shutting down, right?
Well, we've had multiple shutdowns here before, but, you know, if this is going to be a permanent closure, that's a different story.
General Motors has announced it's ending production of its Bright Drop electric delivery van at Cami. Ingersoll Mayor Brian Petrie getting word from GM directly Tuesday morning.
Devastated and overwhelmed, and I think that'll be shared throughout the community. This is something that, this is a worst case scenario. Having the production ceased of the Bright Drop is, yeah, it's not a good day in town here at all.
GM says the decision stems from weak demand for the product, and production will not be moved elsewhere. The company also cites a changing regulatory environment, including the elimination of tax credits in the United States.
It's 100% political. I mean, it's two things. The sales have been slow, absolutely, but everyone's bowing to the guy in the U.S. He's trying to get all the production back in the U.S.
The plant currently has about 1,100 unionized employees. Production has been suspended since May, though about 400 had been expecting to go back to work next month, with the plant operating at one shift.
We got a lot of families in there, husbands, wives, partners, both. Everyone's in there working, and now it's been kind of pulled out from underneath their feet.
Local businesses that rely on Cami workers feeling anxious.
I'm going to have to pivot now, and I'm going to have to be very conscious and very sympathetic to my current customers.
It cost about $2 billion to retool this plant back in 2021 to make EVs. About $500 million of that came from Canadian and Ontario taxpayers. Now, with no commitment from GM, the future of this facility is uncertain.
We need jobs. This is going to decimate the town of Ingersoll, not to mention the county and just even London, Brantford, the surrounding areas.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
And no surprise, the fallout from that announcement hitting Queen's Park today. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris has more.
Last week, Stellantis unplugged its plan to build an electric Jeep Compass in Brampton. Then today, word GM was shutting off production of its electric delivery van Bright Drop in Ingersoll.
This assault on the Canadian auto sector has to stop.
Ontario's pledged $259 million to help GM set up EV production in Oshawa and in Ingersoll.
If they breach a contract, we're going to sue them. Simple as that. And he knows that. They've breached a contract, and we're going to make sure that we get another vehicle in that area.
The opposition unconvinced the Premier's done enough to protect auto investments.
One after the other, they're folding. And this Premier does not have a plan to deal with that.
Let's create a strategy to create demand for made-in-Ontario electric vehicles to protect the investments we've made to support this sector.
Demand for EVs isn't accelerating as quickly as automakers and governments projected, but Minister Fedeli has no regrets.
We took risks, and there will be growth and growing pains throughout these risks, but we know we made the right decision.
The Premier insists there are glimmers of hope in the broader auto landscape.
I talked to Toyota. They're running overtime right now. They're pumping out the vehicles. Honda's gearing up along with Ford as well.
But there is agreement. A trade deal with the U.S. is needed to settle the industry. There's a call for a strategy session between governments, labor, auto, and parts makers.
See if we have a better understanding of how to play our cards with the Americans. This is what Donald Trump has been aiming to do. Let's not help him along the way here.
On Monday, the government announced it's working on a made-in-Ontario vehicle procurement policy that would apply to provincial and municipal fleets. Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Checking today's market numbers, the TSX was weighed down by losses in the mining and technology sectors, plunging more than 500 points. Mixed results in New York as the Dow rose 218, the Nasdaq slipped 36. The Canadian dollar was up slightly on commodity markets. Gold crashed more than $250 an ounce, while oil fell 22 cents a barrel. CTV News Windsor has launched a newsletter helping you start your day with the latest local news. By signing up, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. Let's talk about the Jays a little more. Start times for the upcoming World Series games will be around 8 p.m. For parents with young fans in the house, that could mean some negotiations when it comes to bedtime. With more on how to handle those requests, here's CTV's health reporter,
Dr. Sally Kenaway was up last night with her 5-year-old nephew watching the Jays, but he didn't get to see the Game 7 winning homer by George Springer.
He really wanted to, but he got so tired, poor guy. So he went to bed in the 5th inning.
He got the winning score in the morning.
And so they updated him, and then they let him watch some highlights this morning before school.
Kenaway says she's a huge Jays fan, as well as Humber River's chief of pediatrics, and parents have some room for negotiations about bedtimes during the World Series.
Every kid is different. Every parent knows their kid best. So if a child has an important test the next morning, an important event, then maybe, try to negotiate going to bed earlier. And some kids, just the way they are, just their nature, they need routine.
For kids 5 and under, make a deal like her nephews to go to bed midway and catch up on highlights the following morning. But for older kids?
So it's a historic moment for Torontonians. Let the kids stay up, make an event out of it. They'll build memories. And you can actually use it as a learning experience.
For example, like how to handle the emotional roller coaster of winning or losing, and good sportsmanship.
George Springer got hit by a pitch. The other team was booing. A lot of kids are going to have questions about that. And I don't think that's something that should be encouraged, booing other teams when someone gets injured. So I think we need to be really conscious of our own behavior and what we're doing and know that our kids are going to model that.
If your child is tired the next day, a nap could help.
A limited nap after school, like a 30-minute nap. We're not talking 2-3 hours.
But she says fortunately 4 of the World Series games are scheduled on weekends, making things a little easier for fans and families. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
If you were more hoping to be there in person but didn't score World Series tickets today, good luck getting some. Many of the seats were scooped up by scalpers and instantly relisted online at massive markups. CTV's Pat Bourne reports ticket scams on social media are rampant.
And a swing and a fly ball to left field. As the Toronto Blue Jays get ready to take on the Los Angeles Dodgers, at one point this morning, there were 235,000 fans online trying to purchase tickets. They sold out in about 30 minutes. Cadence Bunky of Toronto was one of the lucky fans.
Once I got through, there were not that many tickets left already. Like, a lot of them were resale.
Bunky was able to buy 2 seats in the 500 level for $500 each, and 2 in the 200 level were $750 per ticket.
I was shocked by the face value when I got through. I was like, that's a lot, but everyone was messaging me that they couldn't even get through the queue, so I figured, well, I better buy these.
I just wanted to go by myself because I'm such a massive Jays fan.
Taylor Belford was scammed trying to buy a single Jays ticket through a Facebook group. It was for Game 6 of the Jays and Seattle Mariners at $150 for a ticket in the 200 level. She says it seemed like a bargain, but the seller claimed they couldn't go and didn't want the seat to be wasted.
It was, again, somebody supposedly that had tickets that wasn't going to be able to go, that didn't really care about the money.
After she transferred the money, the seller said he couldn't separate 2 tickets and told her to send another $150. When she asked for a refund, she says it was clear she had been scammed.
I just lost that money, and I don't want other people to have to go through that too. So just like be careful.
Tickets are now selling on the secondary market. On Ticketmaster, 500 level tickets are selling for $2,000 to $3,000. The price jumps to $7,500 in Section 115. If you wanted to be closer to the action, you could pay almost $20,000 for 2 tickets. Over on StubHub, prices were about the same, if not more. In Section 22, 2 seats will cost you more than $12,000. But in Row 1, Section 21, 2 seats will set you back almost $25,000. But that's VIP with all you can eat and drink. You may find tickets cheaper, but be cautious if you see deals on social media. Chances are they're a scam.
I think they want to keep this Facebook group open to keep scamming people.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald is back with a look at the 7-day forecast. Gary, a little bit chilly the rest of the week.
You're right, chilly, especially in the overnight time frame. Travis, anywhere from about 11 p.m. to about 6 a.m. over the next several days. As to be expected at this time of the year, we're going to see single digits. Now, 3 weeks ago, we were still talking about teens and temperatures during the day in the 20s, feeling like the low 30s. Look at this board. Different story altogether. It's still windy tonight as I speak into tomorrow. A high of only 10 degrees. We should be closer to 15, then 12, 13, 13. Things do improve beyond Thursday. The weekend looks good. A mixture of sun and clouds. The story Friday through Saturday. Sunday, temperatures in the lower teens. And the overnights are still looking coolish, 3 to 5 degrees between Friday and Monday as lows. So be prepared. Extra layers and still windy and rainy the next couple of days before fair weather is the story weather-wise. Good night.
Thanks, Gary. Big fan of your forecasting, but I might have some competition in the race to be the president of your fan club. One Windsor woman says our meteorologist has a feathered follower.
Stephanie, you can feel the humidity starting to build. Today, warmer than yesterday.
Lisa Reyes says her lovebird Stormy lights up every time Gary's voice comes on TV. As soon as the forecast starts, the little guy starts chirping like he's part of the broadcast himself. Guess that's one way to measure audience engagement. That's our time for tonight. Thank you for spending part of your evening with us. Thank you to Stormy with the latest local news at any time. Head to ctvnewswindsor.ca. Have a great night.